Hi, Capricorn. This reading takes a look at your themes and lessons for 2022. It's my intention that this information will help you as you move into 2023. So, I shuffled your deck and I've pulled your cards, and your overall energy was the Devil, which actually is your tarot card. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, a lot of you have been in some kind of situation with a karmic partner for a very long time, because you actually got the Emperor reverse and the Empress reverse. And with the Devil combined, that just screams karmic energy, right? There was an opportunity this year for you to be able to really assess what is going on within your love life as far as holding on to toxicity, being with people that don't have your best interests in mind, really having to kind of delve into the shadow side of yourself, how you have been using themes like control and power, whether or not you're using them for good or evil, right? So, kind of a difficult energy. This feels like it's had a lot to do with your love life this year. As I'm looking at how it's affected your life, some of these bigger themes in regards to love, you actually got the Three of Swords. So good for you. I feel like you did end up separating yourself from a karmic situation. Unfortunately, it's looking like it took a lot for you to do that. So you may have experienced some pretty difficult situations where you felt like there was nothing more you could do. Perhaps you felt like it was becoming such a strain, such a burden. You were having your heart broken on more than one occasion, right? And the reason for all of this pain that I feel like you experienced through the year was so that you could start wrapping up this cycle with whoever this person is, because they're not serving your highest good, right? Maybe at the time when you met this person, perhaps several years ago, you were in alignment with one another, but now Spirit is calling you to really level up. And it feels like because you've been doing a lot of work on yourself, this is something that no longer resonated with you anymore, but for whatever reason, you still felt the need to give to this situation for a very long time. Now, it's possible that you were with someone who is very manipulative, or this person, whoever this is, had addictions, or you shared an addiction, or some kind of situation that brought the two of you together, right? Sometimes trauma or a traumatic experience that the two of you shared can really keep those bonds going longer than they're supposed to. And I feel like with some of the cards I'm seeing here, you had to work through whatever that was within yourself that kept you attracted to this situation or this person. And once you resolve that, that pull that you were constantly feeling to whoever this is started to dissipate. Unfortunately, you had to do some really deep shadow work this year. And it's almost like you lost a part of yourself, or you had to leave the part of yourself behind that was still very attached to this person. Now, as I'm looking at your finances, Eight of Swords in the reverse, and that's being clarified by the Seven of Wands in the reverse. So I feel like you perhaps took some risks this year, right? It seems like there could have been some stress around your finances. And this actually happened so that you would start relying more on your community or your family of origin. And I feel like that's been kind of difficult for you, probably because whatever this karmic situation is, it made it very hard for you to maintain other connections, right? And this could be something that built up. Perhaps you had this like significant other that isolated you from other people, or this person had a tendency to turn people off from you, because as you kept giving to this, people in your life were like, I don't understand why this is a situation that you keep helping this person, or why do you keep allowing this person to have access to your finances or your heart, right? And so I feel like not only was this connection so intense and painful, but you were probably experiencing some financial difficulties within your life. And that was so that you could see that you can't count on this person, right? You can't trust them with your heart. You can't count on them financially. The people that you would have been able to trust or count on are now starting to distance themselves from the situation as far as like your life or the relationships that you shared with them, right? Could be like siblings. I know sometimes when you're in the midst of like a karmic situation, that person really lashes out and does some very unattractive things to people that you care about just to keep you, right? Just so that there is nowhere else for you to go, or you're not going to be able to like find advice or solace in family members or maintaining friendships, because this is such an energy drain or a time suck, right? So if you were experiencing financial difficulties, it really was the universe's way of trying to reconnect you back to the people that care about you, that would show up for you or help you, okay? So I don't know if you took advantage of that opportunity, or if this is something where you kind of suffered in silence, or perhaps you took some risks financially to try to recoup some of what I'm seeing that it looks like you were worried about or you lost. But that was the purpose of your financial problems, to try to get you back into alignment with some of the people that really are on your team, okay? Nine of Swords coming out in the reverse for your relationship with yourself. I feel like in regards to that, your worst fears were kind of confirmed, because you were staying in something that was very painful. It needed to end. And I feel like towards the end of whatever this was, you realized that you didn't recognize yourself anymore. Okay. So there's kind of this energy of having to come back to center, having to realize that what you were afraid of had already taken place, right? And you were actually moving in a space of trauma due to the aftermath of that. But I think because you were so wrapped up in whatever this relationship or situationship was, you were not able to see that what you were so afraid of, it had already happened, right? Perhaps you had like trust issues, or you were afraid of being betrayed. Those things had already happened to you in spades, right? And so as far as your relationship with yourself, I feel like you really kind of brought it in, and you were thinking like, wow, in what ways have I actually made everything that I'm afraid of a self-fulfilling prophecy by being a party to my own victimization, right? And allowing this person to still have access to me, right? So difficult energy as far as your relationship with yourself. In 2022, you probably felt like you were making the wrong decisions, or like you were operating out of pain rather than being analytical and being able to kind of plan like you usually do, right? Because I feel like for you Capricorns, you're usually very like eye on the prize, you know what's going on, you know what needs to happen next. And this just got you so out of your element that it feels like it affected every area of your life, especially in regards to yourself. What I do like about this though is that you got into a space where you started to realize that you were staying in situations that needed to end, and that you actually had the power to change things around, but it may not look like what you were hoping, right? It might not be this person going to rehab or getting their life together. It might be you exiting the situation. And that really was what Spirit wanted for you. Now, I'm not saying that this is a forever separation, even though it feels like this was very karmic. It feels like there's other things you're supposed to be doing. But for those of you that are dead set on whoever this person is, you have free will, right? I'm just reading the cards. It looks like the whole purpose of you going through a lot of this trauma was to realize how you lost yourself to this connection, right? And that it's not worth it to hold on to someone that treats you the way they do if it separates you so much from yourself and your higher self and your loved ones, right? In regards to your mental, you got 8 of Cups. So that is very positive, right? Mentally, I think you just got to a point where you were so exhausted in 2022 that you kind of put your hands up and you're like, you know what? This doesn't hold the same value to me as it used to, right? A lot of the situations that it feels like you were tied to, you were obligated to, it just became such a drain on you that you moved away from them emotionally because you couldn't afford to keep showing up. And that happened because the universe wanted you to close out these old cycles so that you could be ready for something new. Okay. So 2022 probably felt very intense for you guys. It probably felt very frustrating or at times lonesome. But that really was so that you could see things for what they were, start putting yourself first, realize that there are connections that are keeping you apart from your success, from the people who love you, and to really take power over those things, take ownership and accountability, because you Capricorns are very accountable people, right? You're very good at owning your stuff. And so you had to get to a head where you realized, like, this isn't gonna change, right? I need to let this go. But I believe that in doing that, you're really opening a lot of doors for yourself in 2023. So I'm sorry that this has been such a rough year for you, but I also feel like you've been able to learn some really valuable lessons, and you've been able to create space for some really positive things to come in this year. All right. Now, I will be doing the 2023 forecast soon. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to tap the subscription and notification bell so you'll get an alert when I put those out. You guys be very, very good to yourself, and just know that whatever you feel like you lost, you will be repaid, right? It might not come from this person, but distancing yourself from some of these really toxic situations and coming back into union with the people who really do care about you, that's going to open a lot of doors for you this year. All right, you all take very good care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.